little stalled out in the bedroom through Hims? You can get some gas back in the tank with personalized ED treatment options that are accessible without ever stepping foot into a doctor's office. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/Yannis. That's HIMS.com/Yannis for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/Yannis. The featured products include compounded products which are not approved nor verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Welcome to the Yannis Pappas Hour, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about the latest news about this medium that you're watching me on right now, where you've just tuned in to focus on the first couple of seconds, and now you've started multitasking. Maybe you masturbate to me, maybe you lift weights, maybe you drive in a car, maybe you do jumping jacks, maybe you do yoga, maybe you're eating, maybe you're at work. Because that is work, especially for the young generation in 2025 and yonder, is sort of half attention. Maybe you're at home. Maybe you're working remotely. Maybe you have a job that doesn't need you to come into the office. Maybe you're pretending to work, but I guarantee you one thing, my friends, I doubt you're working out. But if you are, you have earbuds in. Or you're laying in bed and you're sniffing your balls. Or you're laying in bed looking hot as a female, wondering whether you should take a picture of your legs and pretend that you just wanted to put in your stories that it was a picture of what you were watching, but you conveniently took a picture from waist up, from leg to feet, because that boosts the likes, it boosts the guy's horny interest, which is good. The things that are always good that we're interested in, horny. We're interested in self-help, improvement, money, murder, laughing. And coincidentally, those are the genres that are booming in this medium that I am coming to you pre-recorded at. And we are going to explore today the latest news about the upsurge in podcast revenue and take you on a journey through the history of podcasts. It started just innocently. An MTV VJ going, what can we do? What can we do? And another guy going, what can we do with this new technology? Well, now you got your earbuds in, or you're laying in the bed that I said, sniffing your balls, or taking a picture of your legs and feet, listening to me, and I'm getting paid for it by sponsors that I don't know what they are until Jesse tells me who they are. And I'm happy and grateful for you and for them, but more for both of you, because without you, they wouldn't be here. And without them, I would be here. So it's a new part of the economy. And it started as broadcasting with your iPod. You combine those two things. A lot of people don't know where the word podcasting came from. Because for me, I'm like, how come it's not called radio from your home? How come it's not called radio from the living room? How come it's not called talking to you for free? How come it's not just like called talking? How come it's not called, hey, I'm your new friend? How come it's not called, hey, in this recordable world that you live in, where everything can define you, a mistake can determine your fate. Others can determine your fate by recording a mistake that you made. A foible of yours gets exposed in a gotcha moment by somebody else whose revenue stream is the content of catching you in that foible or gotcha. In this culture of an economy of contenting to other contenters, right? I am someone who can't hurt you. It's a one-way friendship. I can't see what you're doing. I can't form a little private group on Facebook or whatever the one the Russian guy created, Teleport or whatever. Telegraph, right? Is that what it's called? I can't create one there and talk about you behind your back and make you want to kill yourself because our brains haven't evolved past the negativity bias. So you go, oh my God, I'm in college and 16 of my friends are ganging up on me in a private chat. I guess I should blow my brains out because this is a permanent problem. And you're not talking to your parents because they are still watching 60 Minutes and commercials. So you can't go to them and explain to them that you are of a younger generation and it is very important to you that you are liked not only in the real world, but in a fake digital world where people talk good about you. People you don't know. Some guy named Alexander the Great Balls needs to also like you. Because you posted a picture of your legs and your feet, and he said your feet looks like a man, and you inherited your dad's face. And now you can't sleep for a week because some stranger who's just trying to get attention, or maybe a job in the future economy of trolling other countries. Trolling could be just a job interview now. I bet you the government is looking through going, I like what this guy's got. We're going to, instead of him commenting on comedian videos or girls' videos, we're going to throw him into North Korean chat rooms and let him have at it. It's all becoming big business. Communication. You know, broadcasting has been democratized. So now it's going to be corrupted and weaponized and botted and baited and for sale. And podcast is one of those big things. And it started innocently, just like porn. You know, it started just like, guys, there were no girls around, you're in a cave. So you paint or you sketch a picture of a stick figure with boobs. You take out your meat with your hairy bush and you beat your meat to it in a cave with other guys. And then you get the idea, oh, there's no girls around. We're cold in this cave. We already beat off to the same figure. Why don't I just stick it in your hole? I think homosexuality was born out of necessity, like most things, and the available technology at the time, right? So people used to sketch things on the wall, and they would masturbate to them. And then it was still pictures, right? And then it was movies. And pretty soon it's going to be AI with this like rubber thing on your penis going like this while you're in this world that your brain believes is real. What becomes popular based on the technology that's around to facilitate it, right? I haven't driven my own car in 2 months. The problem is I'm falling asleep at the wheel because I'm just a passenger in my own car and I'm so comfortable that I'm finding it hard to stay awake. But I used to drive my own car up until 2 months ago. Now I'm not. Do you think we're going back? We never go back, right? We went from live theater. I'm about to disprove what I just said. We went from live theater to television and movies. Live theater to radio, where people were telling stories on radio, to television and movies, back to radio and live. So I just disproved, because the podcast is basically radio and television reimagined, and everyone's going out live. There's a big boom of people going to concerts. So I just disproved what I was going to say. Maybe people will drive again. I don't know. I don't know anything. And just an editorial retraction from the last podcast from what I've heard from Jesse. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't know that Muslims also got snipped. So I apologize, because I did a reggae song on the last episode where I said, we got the snipping in there. We got the kosher peanuts and the you don't snip. Okay, Muslims also snip their hoods. I didn't know. I didn't know they also did that. I didn't know. But they're both got kosher penises with no hoods. They're both, what's the word I'm looking for? Not castrated, but circumcised. They're both circumcised.
Nice clean penis.
Yeah. To get back to the original point, the medium that you're watching me on was born, the first sort of imaginations of it. The first imaginings of podcasts go back to the 80s and 90s, where a lot of things were changing, right? They already had cellular phones at that time. They had the internet was coming around, right? 70s, 80s, 90s. That's where all this stuff was born. And audio blogging started in the 1990s. Early internet users would take a break from going in their AOL chat rooms and meeting girls and then getting to know them, which was a new medium, and then going, can I get your number? And then calling them and masturbating with each other, which I did a few times. They took a break from that and they posted audio files of them talking, blogs, you know? They posted their websites. People started imagining websites. Hey, my name's Yannis Pappas. I'm a cool dude. Here's my photos. Come blow me. Can I blow you? I assume most of the early stuff is just about getting some action, right? This is my job, you know? The internet was still very scary to everybody, and there was a lot of non-believers. It was like the trans women of the time. Some people were excited about it, some people rejected it, and other people were confused. I remember that era. A lot of people were rejecting, this is never going to take off. This is what you can't touch it. Everyone just wants to go to the supermarket. They want to have tactile experiences. Books are going nowhere. People love books. Books are gone. What is there, like one Barnes & Noble's left? The technology is what creates the trend, not the people, right? Just like the business of New York creates New York, not the punk rock artists at CBGB's or government-run grocery stores, which we may have soon. Thanks to the podcasters who are promoting this 33-year-old mayoral candidate who may or may not be a candidate. We'll find out. But that is a tangential point that is related because he is similar to Trump. He is galvanizing a base on the internet with the young people. He's 33. They're bypassing traditional media and going for it. Zobrani Dildani, Zoltan, not Adam Sandler. He is a Shia Muslim Indian from Uganda who was naturalized as a citizen in like 2017 or 18. And was making rap videos. He's making content. He's a content creator just like you. It's what we all are now. You know, it's like in some form or another, every person is a content creator. The only difference is the amount of people that are watching. But we're all making content. Even if you're on Instagram, you're making content. The only difference is the amount. It's the difference between terrorism from Israel and Hamas, right? I'm the Israel terrorism because I have more of an effect. You're the Hamas because you can only get a couple at a time with hang gliders. So at one time, he was making content. He was rapping, and he's from Jackson Heights. And he's of this podcast generation that seems to definitely be past the growth boom. There are 50 million podcasts, it's estimated, 50 million podcasts globally with millions and millions of listeners and viewers, etc. But the money is continuing to go up and the viewership is continuing to go up. It's moderate growth compared to the explosion, but now the projection and the actualization seems to be, it's becoming more mainstream. So it's not this rebellion anymore. It's not this alternative media. Now it is turning into media. You know, NPR, whatever, they've gone from newspapers and they have popular podcasts now. So all the mainstream stuff is just going to the new medium on the new technology and doing the same thing, just in a different way. Little long form chat, giving you the news so you can listen to it while you're jerking off, cycling, or pretending to work. They've gotten popular. Why? Because work has changed, man. You're the generation now. Focus that's your grandparents' world, your parents' world. You're the multitask generation. You will take humans and the brain will evolve to be able to do 3 things at one time. The other night I caught myself masturbating to porn while I was watching the NBA Finals, and I was going back and forth and reading the latest on whether Israel and Iran were still at war. And I said, whoa, I'm a kid. I get it. And that's what everyone's doing now. Watching the game, playing a video game, dick in hand, food in the other, doing 4 things at once, and they're going to evolve to be able to do it and pay attention to all. And podcasting is low stakes listening, baby. You listen, you bike, you multitask. It's additive entertainment. You don't got to commit. Committing and focus is your parents' world. You guys are like, let's meet up. Am I gay? Am I not? Am I straight? Am I not? Am I left? Am I not? Am I right? Am I not? Do I have a gender? Do I not? Am I online? Am I real? Am I not? You know, is this my real account, my fake account, my bot account? With that? It's all non-committal. It's all non-committal, multitasking, unfocused, and there ain't nothing wrong with it. Everyone's just got to learn to deal with it, and podcast just fits right in. Also, like I said, I'm a friend who can't hurt you. You know in the back of your mind, all the friends around you could record you. They could start a chat about you. They can take you down. I don't know who you are. I can't access you. So I feel safe, and I am safe. This is anonymity. This is what anonymity used to be, right? When we were growing up, Jess, it was like, you know, you could sleep over my house and I peed in my bed. It was only going to get to 4 or 5 people. You guys would make jokes about it and then you forget about it. But nowadays, if I pee my bed, I'm Yanni the bedwetter forever. Put it on the internet, I'm Yanni the bedwetter. So we had anonymity. We were able to grow anonymously. Kids can't anymore. They're scared to live because every moment could define them. Every mistake in that moment could define who they are. But when you listen to a podcast, you have a friendship where you're completely safe and you're anonymous to that person. I can't hurt you. I can't backstab you. I can't DM your girlfriend behind your back without, it's just, I don't know you. I don't know who your girlfriend is. Your friends do. And they could be with your girlfriend, but then slip her a DM. Back in the day, if you were going to talk to my girlfriend, you'd have to either say it in person or call her on the phone, which created a little bit more of backstabbing. But now it's just so easy. It's frictionless. Just like DoorDash and all this stuff. No friction, baby. Answer the door butt naked. Just pull the food in. You don't have to look at the delivery guy. Tips already included. Everything's included. No friction. Podcasts, you don't got to download them anymore. That's why they took off. Frictionless. Just stream it right from your phone on the toilet. You're gonna not be with your thoughts for very long because it's frictionless. So how did podcasts start? What originated it? Let's take you back through a little bit of the history of podcasting. The term podcast was coined in the early 2000s, right? So we're talking, we just got hit. The buildings came down. All right? Now we need a place to talk about it. People discover, hey, I got an opinion on this. I think it was the Israelis. I think it was the Muslims. I think it was the Bush administration. I think it was the neocons, right? I think they had this plan, a false flag attack so they could go into Iraq. I got to tell people. And the internet goes, paint on me. Paint me like your French girls, Jack. Paint on me. And loose change comes. And people start posting, and they're blogging, and they're blah, and they're audio recording. This is my basement. The CIA is watching me. Mentally ill people had a voice. Finally. Never before. Only people mentally ill people could talk to was the voices in their own head. Now they could talk to people in other places that are mentally ill. They could find each other. People who were into true crime could find each other. People who wanted to fuck but were too shy or had no game could find each other. People who knew that 80% of the women wanted to bang 20% of the men and that was never going to change and they felt helpless about it could commiserate in their misery and find each other and then find people who did get those girls and fucking harass them to feel better. This opened up all types of world for incels, for losers, for mentally ill, for races and creeds and ages. If you were a pedophile, you felt alone until the early 2000s. Where you went on the dark web and you found some Dutch guy who had a farm somewhere where he was sucking off a horse and let a horse bang him in the ass and he went, and he died. You didn't feel so alone anymore. Chat boards, these things start emerging. And Adam Curry, who I don't remember, because MTV feels like 100 years ago, much like news yesterday, who was a former MTV VJ. Remember when they were the shit? Do you think anyone I don't even remember his name. Tucker Carlson Daly?
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson's in my mind now. That's the new rock star.
Downtown Julie.
Yeah, by the way, you see him groveling for Trump now. It's very funny. Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, he's like, he said this thing where actually the Koch brothers, Rupert Murdoch said, while he was firing him for losing him $800 million, according to Tucker, said, why don't you run against Trump? Because I hate Trump. He's like, nobody hates Trump more than Murdoch. But what he forgot was that he had messaged his producer of his show and said how he much hated Trump. Remember that? He's like, I fucking hate him. He's a demon. Pretty soon we'll be done with this guy. But according to him, Rupert Murdoch said, run against Trump, we'll back you. But he goes, I love Trump. I would never do that because I love Trump. And if you look in the comments, everyone's going, bullshit. They're going, wah, wah, wah. Because he turned against Trump and he rode that internet wave of anti-Israel. Anyway, let me get back to what you want to know. And then there was a journal, and then Adam Curry co-created something called iPodder. iPodder was an app to download podcasts to iPods. Everyone was listening. He had the idea, hey, dude, let's talk. You know, I'm a VJ. I talk for a living. It's what I do. I don't have any other talent. I probably have a decent face or whatever. Or I was a music journalist. I don't know who he is, and I don't care. I don't care who he is at all. Is he hot? Yeah, decent looking guy, I guess. Let's download these podcasts to iPodder. Can we back on the screen? I've seen him already. And he combines with a guy named Dave Weiner. They get together, software developer, and he wanted to add audio to RSS feeds. And Adam Curry wanted to create this app, and they did it. And that was in 2004. So they downloaded audio RSS feeds to iPods. Then from 2005 to 2010, things really began. The Garden of Eden for your listening pleasure. When Apple steps into the game, much like, it was really the 2000 to 2020 was Apple's world, man. They took the phone, they took the computer, it took it out of your home, and you could take your phone and your computer and your mailbox with you everywhere, and your radio and everything. And iTunes was dominating, took away the music industry, flipped it on its head, and they added a podcast directory to iTunes. So over 3,000 shows were uploaded immediately by the end of the year. Podcast awards were launched in 2005. I imagine it looked like a WNBA post-game conference. Before the money's there, they just hang up a black sheet. You ever see a post-game? It's just like, it's done in like the lobby of a hotel for the WNBA, especially if Caitlin Clark's not there. So I assume that's what the podcast awards were back then, probably hosted by a young Jim Norton or something. They got some comedian to just go up there and talk and host the podcast awards. But there was a few early hits, like This Week in Tech. So people wanted to know, like, where's this going? Nerds. Grammar Girl. I'm sure she's hot. People wanted to lick her. And then, believe it or not, Dan Carlin got in early with Hardcore History. Very early. And then You say, where does the term come from? It comes from the combination of the iPod and broadcasting. They put that together, and a journalist, what was his name? He coined it. The journalist, his name was Ben Hammersley in The Guardian. Just like the journalists used to do that, right? Remember the Brat Pack? That was coined by a journalist who was doing a hit piece on how fucking stupid they were. But it stuck, and it ate a bunch of them apart. And there was just a documentary where one of them just fucking still was seething over it. And Rob Lowe was like, dude, what the fuck, man? You should have just embraced it. And he was like, oh, I could have embraced it? Fuck. And he goes and he visits the journalist. He's like, do you know how much pain you caused? He's like, dude, that was my job. You guys were a bunch of idiots. You know, you weren't the Brat Pack. You weren't the Rat Pack. You were the Brat Pack. It was a generation. He goes, oh, yeah, I really should have just embraced it. Damn. It's like 35 years of hell for no reason. But journalists used to do that, coin terms, make them famous. And Ben Hammersley in The Guardian in February 2004 went into the history books when he coined podcast by blending iPod and broadcast. Guys, I want to tell you about something that's been new to my life that I've fallen in love with. It's called cornbread hemp. CBD gummies, baby. I do love CBDs. And cornbread is a great place to get your CBD gummies. They taste great and they relax you. Have you been looking for a natural way to relieve aches and discomfort? We know CBD's the way, baby. You know, you don't got to go with the pharmaceuticals that have all the side effects. These CBD gummies from cornbread hemp are formulated to work with your body, not against it. Everyone knows I'm not as young as I was, even though I look very young, Jesse. I do look very young, but I care a lot about maintaining my physical and mental wellness, especially my mental wellness. So a little bit more than my physical because I can't resist pizza. I can't resist pizza. I eat an alarming amount of pizza. But cornbread hemp CBD gummies are a huge part of how I relax now. I love it. Thank you for sending them to me. I'm in. I love them. They're great. So it's time for you guys, if you're into this, which everyone should be, cornbread hemp CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, discomfort, or just needing a little relaxation. They only use the best part of the hemp plant, the flower. Maybe that's why it's so good. For the purest and most potent CBD. Makes sense. Formulated to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness. All products are third-party lab tested and USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. So there you go. Stamped. Right now, for my listeners, you can save 30% off. Very nice. Your first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/Yannis. That's YANNIS. Use the code Yannis, YANNIS at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/Yannis. Use the code Yannis. What's up, my friends? You know me. I always got a nicotine pouch in my mouth, and Lucy won me over. My favorite, espresso in the morning, midday. I hit up the nice wintergreen mint, and I love it. This is why I carry around 3. People go, why do you carry around 3? My morning coffee and my afternoon little pick-me-up. I love Lucy, 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco-free, and these are breakers, so you get a little extra flavor. You snap it with your tooth, which I like to do, and it explodes the flavor in your mouth. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. Set yourself up with a subscription. Again, that's why I love Lucy. Makes it easy. No late night visits to the gas station. No searching through your drawers going, where is my stuff? You keep a steady flow coming straight to you, delivered right to your door. So right now, let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/Yannis, YANNIS. Use the promo code Yannis to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Here comes the fine print. You got to read the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. So then, like I said, Apple steps into the game, then the 2010 to 2014 period. And I remember this because I took a TV show in 2013, and it was like, whoa, Yannis got a gig. Everyone wanted a gig. I was getting paid a bunch of money at the time. I moved to Miami. I bought a BMW. I got a duplex apartment. I started unbuttoning my fucking shirt. I was single. I was heartbroken over my ex-girlfriend, but I was swimming in the Latin putana, and it was great. And I was on a network that was doomed to fail because ABC and Univision put like $100 million in to a network when networks were about to die. And everyone was on their phones already, but just nobody wanted to admit it yet. Because you know what? Networks and Hollywood and TV, think of them like the Titanic, right? And there's an there's an iceberg out there. And so the Titanic can't turn. There's so many jobs. There's so much in that industry. People don't want to see the iceberg. They want to just pretend it's not there because their jobs and their finance depends on it. And so they just go right towards the iceberg. Meanwhile, these little speedboats were emerging, right? Little tiny operations. You know, Dan Carlin, boom, boom, boom. They was in a speedboat. So they saw the iceberg and they just went, round, round, and they were able to maneuver. And that's what we have now, just a bunch of speedboats that are now starting to turn into the Titanic, which means they're going to hit an iceberg at some point, but not for a long time, not until another technology comes along that renders this one antiquated, much like the internet did to cable TV, and cable TV did to television, and television did to radio, and radio did to you just telling me a story on a corner. And that's how it works. So I took that job in 2013, went down to Miami, had the money, but I was gaining no traction. And I started hearing about these people who never got a laugh. I'll just be honest. Some of the worst comedians I've ever watched used to perform at my show. And in like 6 months, I was like, what? And they started a podcast. So I got a snowball mic, because me and Nate Bargatze tried to start one in like 2009 too, called Could Be Better. Those episodes are somewhere. And he was telling me, I'm telling you, dude, it's going to be big. And he was right. And I should have listened to him, because look at him now. But we did the podcast. We did everything wrong. We had a horrible mic. We were recording out of a laptop. And it was like 2009. They hadn't really taken off. I guess Mark Maron's career was in the shitter. He was about to disappear, and he started his in 2009. And he was early, and it took off. But in 2010 to 14, these things really started taking off. So if you were early and you had something decent, you know, and I remember one comic in particular, I was going, what? And she just overnight was like massive. And I was like, this person? I mean, she was kind of smart, but the last thing she was funny, or he, whoever it is. Right. And so I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get back to New York and get on this internet. And I got back to New York, and I took a internet job that paid very well for AOL. AOL was doing content. And I know you're laughing, but they hired Steve Buscemi. They hired a bunch of A-list people. They were doing content. Then they had a massive new front, which is like what TV shows do, is the upfronts, where they invite advertisers and pitch their shows, and then advertisers buy space. The new fronts is where they pitch advertisers and they go sell ads on these web series. And mine was called 2 Point Lead. It was a sports comedy show. I got paid very well from AOL. They had a lot of money. And they were very smart. They were dying, AOL, so they built up this thing, and then they did the new fronts. They invited Verizon, and then they sold it to Verizon. Verizon took the bait, bought it for a massive amount of money, and then tried to do content and bombed, because YouTube was already starting to own the day. Netflix was emerging. People were fucking ordering their DVDs. Remember the rebellion when they tried to stop the DVD business? Those are your people who just, you know, they're old school. They're the boomers. They're going, don't change. But we all know where it's heading. The younger people always know where it's heading, and that's frictionless. That's the new thing. Frictionless. I want this convenient. I want it easy. I want you to serve me. Be my slave. Bring it to my door. I don't want to be face-to-face with someone. I want a DMer where I can hide behind the DM and I can say, hey, baby, I want to eat your puss, or I want to lick your boobs without any of the embarrassment, where I can be whoever I want to be. Make it frictionless. So smartphones and apps take it to another level. In the 2010, 2014, the iPhone comes out, and apps like Stitcher and Pocket Casts started to make listening a little easier. Then NPR and public radio got in early, and their station began investing in podcast-first content because they're open-minded liberal people. And monetization was very limited. Me and Jesse took off on YouTube in 2008 to 2010. You made no money. There was no money on it. So, of course, we were like, well, let's just do live shows where you made money. But if we had just kept making fucking shit, we would have continued to make money. But we were too early. There was no money. There was no Google AdSense. There was no advertising. It was all new. There was dogs on skateboards and people broadcasting from their house, Smosh kids. They were just doing it. Nobody was making any money, but they were getting fame. People were getting to know them. You know, the early TikTok, what was it called? Vine was out. And those people started getting fame, but they weren't getting a fucking cent from Vine. It was 6 seconds. Where do you put the ad? But they were getting famous, and they were having these meetups, and they were going, holy shit. And so you saw just the walls of the old world of communication and broadcasting just start to be torn down. It's been ripped down. And it started really started in 2010. And in the first season in 2010, there was a show called This American Life, which became a worldwide phenomenon. And the first season was downloaded over 100 million times. So that's when people started going, what? Oh my God, I got to start hiding from HR immediately. You know, there was people like vice presidents of old companies going like, hear no evil, see no evil. And they started just to plan their fucking like, I'm going to give myself a raise because I'm about to be out of here. Fellas, Hims is here and is changing men's health care by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. They provide a large range of doctor-trusted ED treatments. You know what that means. Get hard, boys. Like chewable tablets, Viagra and Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% less. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits, which is great. Just fill out an intake form on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you for free. Nice. Free shipping. No insurance is needed. No hassle, baby. One low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED treatment option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/Yannis, YANNIS. That's HIMS.com/Yannis for your personalized ED treatment options. Hims.com/Yannis. The featured products include compounded products which are not approved nor verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. So This American Life was like the hit that brought the attention. It was the Caitlin Clark of podcasting, right? All the attention started coming to podcasting from media, advertisers, mainstream audiences, because they were going, whoa, this is a hit. And then we get to the more recent history where we're all familiar, where we're kind of, everything seems, linear, and we can remember 2015 to 2020, Spotify, Google, and Amazon, the big giants, enter the space. Then ads come in with CPMs, which are clicks, live shows, merchandise, subscriptions. Everything starts to really take off as a business model. Spotify acquires the smaller podcast apps, Gimlet Media, Anchor, Parcast, iHeartMedia, Wondery, and Luminary, build networks and start to try to grapple and be first and understand this new platform that there seems to be a lot of interest in. Then we get to now, when big tech figures it out and they provide 2020 to 2026. The pandemic hits and everyone goes online and starts contemplating buying real estate online, living online. Everyone has a collective mental breakdown. You're scared to approach other people. The TV's telling you don't go anywhere, don't do anything. But the internet's going, we're not so sure about that. What's so bad about that? And we learn that old media is contrived, controlled, bought and paid for, and they lie. And that's what really solidifies. I want an authentic guy. I want somebody, man, who's wearing a t-shirt, man. Podcasting is the jeans that showed up, and TV is the suit. So I want a guy in jeans, man. I want jeans. I don't want to wear these uncomfortable suits anymore because they lie. They didn't tell me there was a 99.6 survival rate, dude. They had me scared in here. They didn't let my kid go to school. Maybe it was a little bit of an overreaction, but I was hearing some contrary opinions online. That's when it explodes because everyone's listening. And Mr. Joe Rogan goes, I know a couple people who got fucked up. And boom, things change. Apple Podcast subscriptions in 2021. Spotify, paid episodes, starts giving money out. Patreon emerges, Substack, integrations. Go subscribe to the person you like. Pay them. AI tools for editing, summarizing and producing podcast images. People start getting savvy. They become marketers. They become media savvy. Put the cover on. Wide face. Seductive title. We all start becoming advertising agencies exaggerating the truth to get you to click. Something the media struggled with. And that's why they started dying from the get-go. Right? They started giving news away free online, thinking that, this is just will drive people to buy our newspapers. Little did they know they were conditioning people to free content. And they weren't getting paid for it. They should have started with a subscription model. They should have just transferred right over, and people would have just been like, this is easier, a little frictionless. I'll buy it, but it's easier, but I'm paying for the convenience. But they didn't. They fucked up, and they became very ad-based, so they started becoming very heavily reliant on fiction to get people to click through in order to sell whatever ad banner they had there to make money. So they go, oh my God, World War III's coming, Hillary's got a penis, everyone can, whatever. Oh my God. It was always, oh my God. If it bleeds, it leads. They took it to another level. They took TV. It was TV news. It was TV cable news on steroids. And it still is. But now they're getting drowned out by people who are just sitting talking into microphones who have no experience in journalism or no connection or access to the industries that they're talking about. They just read the news, pick up a book, and form their opinions, and then a bunch of fucking equally unexposed or inexperienced people listen to them. The idiots found each other, and we took over. Then 2025 hits, which is now, and it's mainstream. It's become mainstream. Podcasting merges with social media. YouTube gets into podcasting. YouTube becomes the number one place people watch anything, anywhere. Podcasts start getting Netflix deals. It becomes actually mainstream. Podcast creators create networks that they start making shows, putting their own money into it. That's where we are now. It's just the beginning. Tom Segura, Shane Gillis. I'll take my own money. Boom. Or I'll go to Netflix and say, look at my fan base. Let me bring it to you. Boom, here's a big paycheck. But I'm still going to keep my independent production company. I'm going to do podcasts. I'm going to do content. I'm going to do a movie. Why not? I'm going to do sketches. I'm going to do races. I'm going to do brand integration. I'm going to get sponsors. We're going to do Bears 5K. We're going to do live events. We're going to sell merch. They became their own moguls, which rappers have been for a long time before that. Here's my energy drink. Here's my shirt. Now content creators are doing that. And platform consolidation, open RSS feed, reassertion, may shape future content creator control is what's theorized. But podcasting merges with social audio, live streaming experiences, all these things. There's some live streamers, they get massive numbers. And so a lot of people say, is this the end? No, it's growing. We're past the growth period, but now, like I said, we're at that stage where it transforms, right? It's not going to go away. It's just transforming into big money mainstream. It's the mainstream. A lot of people's heads break. They can't understand that, but it is the mainstream. The money and the eyeballs has made it the mainstream, the preferred method of dissemination to your ears and eyes. That's what they want, because they want to be able to half listen to it while they're jerking off, while they're watching a game, while they're doing whatever. And that's just what young people want. And in America, young people make the rules because we're all selling stuff. And the ones who like to buy don't have developed brains that know that they don't need what they need to buy. They just want things. So America has always been ruled by the youth. We're not ruled by sageous old people like other countries or by thousands of years of culture. We're ruled by money and individual survival. Who's the easiest to manipulate? Young people. What are we all doing now? Just trying to manipulate you to get to click. Just click on this shit. World War III, is it over? Is America getting in? We've all heard it. All these people who have no access to any intel, never worked in the field, have no contacts, aren't journalists, are out there opining on what was going to happen. I just did a quick Google search, and you can astound to this. I just got into it, read as much as I could about it, and determined that no country wants Iran to get the bomb, including its allies. And the only one that might is North Korea, because they're just fucking North Korea. So I was like, oh, nothing's going to happen from this because nobody's upset except Iran, and they're a paper tiger anyway, and Israel's going to destroy all their rocket launchers. They're going to take a little fire, and this is going to be the end of it. And they've been actually fucking doing this for like 12 years. They've been getting in there, cyber attacks, blowing shit up, killing scientists. They've constantly been trying to keep Iran from getting the bomb over and over and over again. So this is no different. America's always been in there somehow. Trump has a fucking beef with them because he thinks they tried to kill him. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. Who knows? But it was just going to be, I knew it was going to be nothing. But I was listening to all these people going, oh my God, we're getting dragged into another war. And why were they doing that? They were doing that because if it bleeds, it leads. And they knew you were going to tune in for that. Nobody's going to tune in for me going, nothing's going to happen because it's just boring. It's just fucking boring. The truth is fucking boring. Reality's fucking boring. And, you know, Tucker is getting roasted for being wrong or whatever now, and somebody else getting roasted. But people will forget in 2 days when he gets something right. And they'll just move on to the next thing because things move so fast. And anyway, he got all the views, and everyone now is tuning in to hate him. So you win either way because it's all about the eyeballs. Whether it's a watch or a hate watch, it's all about the eyeballs. So if you hate him, you're helping. And that's what the internet is. The internet became half the people are going to hate you, half the people are going to like you if you're successful. Joe Rogan, same thing. You know, it used to be this thing where there was like some people, you had to really do something and then people would like hate you or love you. Now we're like Dane Cook in comedy was like the first one where like people just decided they hated him. And then there was people that loved him and he was like the only one. And now it's everybody. And I'm like, oh, that's just what we do now with everybody. Because there's other people making content who have an interest in trying to get you to watch them saying that they hate someone. So we're all Dane Cook now. He was a pioneer in more way than one. You know? He got all those fans of the internet, but he was the first one who was loved and hated. And now everyone I know has that. The higher success you get, the more there's going to be a bunch of people making content using your name to get the clicks saying how much of a fucking idiot you are because they're building their content using your name as clickbait. So it's conditioned everyone to be loved and hated. So the people who are the most savvy about it, Candace and Tucker, people like that are going like, I don't give a fuck if you hate me. You know who I am and you're tuning in to hate me. And that's the norm. It's just you accept it as the norm now. No matter what you do. Jesus could be bringing people back from the dead and there will be a hate video on Jesus and why he's full of shit because there's an opportunity for that person to grow his channel. You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong? No. Everyone knows I'm not wrong. I'm right as usual, except for Muslims snipping their dicks. I'm sorry. I'm sure at some point, I think it was just the Jews that snipped first, right? We're going to look that up because I want to be somewhat right. Because it's better to be right than admit you were wrong. So let's just ask quick. Who snipped first? And put it just in there. Who snipped? Who's the first culture to circumcise? Come on. I suspect they learned it from the Jews. I'm completely wrong. Looks like it was the Egyptians, but then I'm right. The Jews. Just say, did the Jews do it before the Muslims? Just please let me just be right a little bit.
Of course. Muslims were after the Jews.
So I was right. Look at that. I'm right. And that's what matters, is I got to dunk on you, baby. Because that's what we do. We're dunking on each other. The new economy is a dunk. Did I get to dunk on you? Dunked on me by saying I don't know shit, but I dunked on you, saying Islam learned it from the Jews did it first. Boom. So I wasn't completely wrong since I was speaking about them in a historical context. I will rationalize away just like Tucker did with that. I love Trump. I really do. He was groveling. It was so funny. Anyway, that's where we are. And the latest news, just to give you some numbers. Everyone loves numbers. Do you love numbers? I love numbers. It's the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. You got to understand it's all a game on the internet. It's gaming culture. Everyone's out there just going, fuck you, suck it, fuck you, suck. You're funny, you're not funny. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? The numbers are the truth. What do the numbers say? Podcast is ending. It's about to end. Blah, blah, blah. People are just jerking off and sucking each other up because the truth is podcasts are growing. The projected revenue for 2025 is, listen to this, $4.1 billion globally by the end of 2025. The U.S. market share, which a lot of people don't know, 46% of the market share of podcasts is America. So it's like our weapons industry, baby. We do it better than everyone. America. We do weapons and we do podcasting better than anyone. Dominant. We're expected in America to generate 2.3 to 2.5 billion in podcast ad revenue in 2025. This was big news recently, and that's what I do on the show. I take you from a big news thing going on now, and I take you to how we got here. How we got here. The revenue streams are diverse. Advertising, subscriptions, live events and merch, licensing and IP sales. That's coming now. Okay? Across platforms. It's growing. So I expect this listener base to grow. We're going to push it out. We're going to get the right cover up there. I'm going to get you to click. I'm going to fucking catfish you however I can. And I'm going to get down to sit down. I want you to know I'm your friend. I won't hurt you. I won't me too you. I won't embarrass you. You can just listen to me while you lay in bed lonely. I fix loneliness. Yannis Pappas, baby. I'm your best friend. I'm here for you. Not really, but I'm here. Just like some people develop the model of, hey man, this is a big rebellion against the fucking machine. The machine is censoring me. We're all going to this party. We're all going together. And then once the party came, he turned around. He said, none of you are invited. The party's just for me. Well, guess what? I'm your best friend. I'm your best friend until you make me the most famous best friend in the world. And then I'll turn around and say, I don't know who you are. Hey, everybody, go to YannisPappasComedy.com for my dates coming up. I'm in Rochester in the middle of July and a bunch of other dates. So go get your tickets at YannisPappasComedy.com. And don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/YannisPappasHour. Support the show, support the infrastructure. You know, we're a community over here. There's a bunch of us. We love it. I love you. Go to patreon.com/YannisPappasHour. Get your bonus episode every week there. Want to give a shout out to forthefree.art. Thank you for supporting me. I support you. It's music in Hawaii, free shows, bands in Hawaii you want to know about. Go to forthefree.art. Love those guys. Also, IndigoLabsAgency.com. Give Nate Linder a shout. He's a social media guru. He recently quit his full-time corporate America job to do this digital marketing agency full-time, and he's killing it. IndigoLabsAgency.com, marketing solutions backed by data and proven by impact. Also want to give a shout out to rebels-raiders.com. Go over there, check out their products, plate carriers, medical bags, rifle slings, all dropping soon on with multicam and M81 Woodland Camo. Sign up for in-stock notifications. Don't miss out. In the meantime, go get a goat shirt. You know the kid loves a goat shirt. Go check out his website. Very cool. Rebels-Raiders.com. And, of course, Suds Auto Spa. 412-564-5033. Info at SudsAutoSpa.com in Bridgeville, south of Pittsburgh. They will travel. What they do, ceramic coatings, paint protection film, storage solutions, car capsule units, storage assets that are designed to keep your car dust-free and safe from impact mildew. All that good stuff. So hit them up. And, of course, PCB Tech Art, made by Sign right here. They got the power nest for your cars. It's a charger, baby. Put your phone in there. It's beautiful. The power sphere. Put it on your air conditioning vent. Makes your car smell good. Visit PCBTechArt.com. Support these guys. Slap Yannis 10 for a 10% discount off your order.